Alright, these are my note cards. Group introduction. My introduction. Main point 1. Main point 2. 3. Conclusion. Okay. When you think of the 1970s, what comes to mind? The Watergate scandal, soaring inflation, political disruption. What about emerging technology? This may not be the first thing you think about, however, the 70s had a huge impact on the world of technology. It doesn't usually get noticed that way. There were many bright innovators in the 1970s who brought about technological innovation, and each innovation had a specific impact on how society adapted and functioned as time went on. Today we're going to speak about how societal growth in the 1970s can be attributed to the innovators in technology and their different inventions. Now that we've introduced how the 1970s was characterized by societal growth because of emerging technology, I'm going to talk to you about some of the most important innovators of that time. Imagine your life without technology. Pretty hard, isn't it? Most people lived like this in the 1970s and didn't consider technology to be a part of their everyday lives. In the modern era, technology consumed so many people's daily lives that they couldn't go a day without it. Everyone knows Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk. But what about who started it all? What about the people that came up with the first cell phone, or the person that came up with the first GPS system or email? These inventions can be attributed to multiple innovators in the 1970s. Although they may not be as popular, these innovators are the ones we can thank for how we live today. Societal growth due to technology took off in the 1970s and started a wave of advanced technology that is still growing to this day. Societal growth was a huge aspect seen in the 1970s, which was majorly due to leading innovators in advanced technology that contributed to that decade and the future. Today I'm going to tell you about some of the few innovators that contributed to societal growth in the 1970s due to their contributions to the advancement of technology. Now that I've introduced you to a bit about societal growth in the 1970s due to technology, I'm going to tell you about some of the most important innovators in that time. During the 1970s, leading innovators such as Raymond Tomlinson, Martin Cooper, and the U.S. Navy contributed significant advancements in technology. In 1971, Raymond Tomlinson invented the first successful application of what we know today as emailing. With extensive knowledge in science, technology, and engineering, Tomlinson joined a research and development company called BBN Technologies, where he developed an operating system called TNIX, with protocols called ARPANET and TENET. By implementing the protocol ARPANET, or Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, he decided for creating the ability to send and receive net messages from alternate computers. In 1973, Martin Cooper invented the first working handheld cell phone with his corporation called Motorola. On the streets of New York City, Cooper demonstrated the first public phone call using Motorola's prototype handheld cellular phone. He was ready to show the world the revolutionary use of portable phones to carry anywhere and be able to make calls anytime. In 1978, the U.S. Navy scientists created the first working navigation system. The Navstar satellites became known as the first known GPS with timing and ranging capabilities. Scientists had been experimenting for close to a decade to succeed in the next venture in the Russian-American space race when this satellite came to light. Now that I've told you a bit about some of the innovators and their inventions from the 1970s, I'm going to tell you about how their advancements caused societal growth in that time. Technology advancements created by these innovators, plus many more, caused major societal growth in the 1970s. Raymond Tomlinson and his invention of email birthed the idea of networking from one person to another. Tomlinson's advancement in the world of communication laid the foundation of computer messaging by changing from a single computer to multi-computer usage. He was able to change many of the fundamentals of communication by changing the way businesses, banks, stores, and ordinary people communicate amongst one another, no matter their time or location. Martin Cooper and his invention of the first working handheld cellular phone changed the power of telecommunication in the 1970s. The idea of portable communication that people could bring along with them anywhere was revolutionary at the time. Cooper was set to prove to the government and the world that this time in history was full of opportunities to make advancements in personal communication. The U.S. Navy and its scientists created a revolutionary alternative to maps and mapping technology that changed many perspectives in the 1970s. Their creation gave scientists an outlook on the capabilities a device like this could hold. Scientists and innovators alike hoped that this advancement would lead to navigation systems for normal people outside of the military and the government. Now that I've told you a bit about how society changed in the 1970s due to these innovators and their technological advancements, I'm going to tell you about how they contribute to the future. These innovators and their inventions not only contributed to the decade of the 1970s, but also significantly affected the future. Raymond Tomlinson and his invention of emailing is considered the most popular application worldwide to this day. Over 1.5 billion people around the world communicate using email despite any barriers of time and space. Tens of millions of devices that have an email capability are also being used everywhere and every day. Martin Cooper and his invention of the handheld cell phone created a monumental change in the telecommunication industry. Today, 7.26 billion people own cell phones, which ranges to 91.54% of the world population. The technology of a cell phone develops daily and is easily seen as the world's most important communication device for the common people. The U.S. Navy and its creation of the GPS now has hundreds of different uses and is available in many different forms to everyone around the world. GPS systems can now be used for locating just about anything, tracking people or places, and time management for travel. Highly specialized GPS systems are now utilized in all forms of military, special forces, federal agencies, law enforcement, and the government. In conclusion, the 1970s was a pivotal time for the growth of society due to many innovators and their contributions in the world of technology. Think about the world you live in now. Is there a day you go out without using a form of technology that I've mentioned today? Probably not. So many tasks in our everyday lives utilize the contributions from the innovators and their inventions I've spoken about. Next time you think about vital figures in technology, remember these names: Ray Tomlinson, Martin Cooper, and the U.S. Navy. Societal growth was a huge aspect seen in the 1970s, which was majorly due to many leading innovators and their advanced technology that contributed to that decade in the future. Now I'm going to pass it over to Jack, who's going to talk to you about portable technology.